welcome back to another season of the Teacher's Surgery. Let's go! Alright, so today we've got Adnan, Amber, and Hakeem in the building. Let's go! Man. So again, getting to know our panels, getting to know our members. Adnan, we haven't actually got to know you a little bit, so I'm going to ask you some questions, Adnan.
Okay, right? Fire away.
So Adnan, what's your specialty? What is your specialty?
So I've been in the education sector for about 14 years now.
Wow, yeah.
Within FE.
Yeah. Further education.
Right. For those that don't know, FE. So further education for about 14 years. I've also worked abroad in Dubai for about 6 years.
Okay.
And I'm also an international inspector.
Hello.
So my current role.
Okay.
Oh, thank
you. Hello. Come on.
Hello.
So I inspect schools just to make sure that our schools providing a good service and we grade them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
Busy man.
Again, so these are the kind of people, again, teacher surgery, we have professionals and people in the field, right? So this is why we do this podcast. We want to get to answer societal questions from a teacher's point of view and educational point of view. So anyway, today's question, right, is, all right, so hands up if you've seen a St. George flag in the last 2 weeks.
Right now, on my way in.
Can I put my legs up?
All right. So it's how does immigration affect education?
Wow.
Massive.
Right. And I think I don't know if we've done this before, but I did ask a question previously. Was you see the rise of the St. George flags and things like that? My first question on top of that one is any of that affecting your immigrant students, like the St. George flag? Have you
just young people in general? Are
you seeing it in the classroom? Am I hearing those conversations? What's the young people saying about it?
I bless her. Okay. 2 points. First off, you're absolutely right. It does affect our young people, but I don't think they have the trauma that a person of my generation has with regards to flag.
Yeah.
First point. Second point, I think that working in education, and I'm not even trying to be PC about it, but you do also have to cater and understand that culturally, a young white working class boy can feel affinity to that and not be a racist. He might be, I love English football. David Beckham is the best, and that's his crack.
Yeah.
And I'm always having to battle.
Sorry.
I have to battle that more. The opposite end of that more nefarious guy,
Yeah.
Your Tommy Robinson type dude.
Okay.
I have to battle that belief.
But how do you know the difference?
I think
How do you know the difference? And I think what you said, I resonate with that. I think you can be English, white, working class, and patriotic. Patriotic to your flag, I do believe that. And
I'm going to pause you there. When you say English, you just said white. So is English just white?
No, an English white working class.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, because if they was to go around with holding pride to the St. George flag, there will be a stereotype or a label on them as racist, right? And the thing is, I think, how do you tell the difference between get them at and someone that's just queen and country?
I think it's the conversation, the communication you have with another human being. I'll give you the example. You will see a lot of flags around if England are doing well in a tournament, but you don't have that same feeling of opprobrium on you.
Or get back home,
right.
that feeling.
In this current climate that we're in, the small boats and so on forth, it's different. The flags are being brought out in an aggressive state to say, this is my land for a specific corner of a person. Now, how do we battle that? In schools, you have Prevent, which is a real thing. It's not just for anti-Islamic.
But those things don't work.
Sir?
Prevent and all that, respectfully, this against knife crime and this against this and that. Do those things actually work? But Hex, wait 1 sec. I want to ask you, right? Because we're being sympathetic or empathetic to that side. How do the immigrant children feel? And do you think it's fair on them? How do they know if they're being racially or abused or disrespected? And how do they go around? What are you seeing from that?
My thought on this matter is, look, you got the flag.
Yeah.
We're all. I don't care if you're black, white, pink, blue, whatever color you are. We're all human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And ultimately, British values is all about caring for each other. We're all human beings. Let's respect.
Apart from Tottenham fans.
Oh, you went there. I'm not even going to say no.
Are you okay?
I'm not going to say no. Sorry, lads.
He wants to get cancelled.
Sorry, mate.
But yeah, carry on.
You know, respect, and that's the key. Let's respect everyone. Let's respect whatever culture you're from, whatever background you're from,
course.
whatever color you are. Let's respect each other,
Yeah.
and that's the core concept. I think that we need to.
So that's what you do in a class, right?
No, but
Absolutely,
that-
and that's why everyone needs to shadow.
Personally, I call it out. So if I know that something's off, I'm going to say, I'm going to call that kid to the side and say, do you know that the way you've just behaved portrays or showcases that you have a problem with the person's skin color, or, you know what I mean? I've had students come and tell me, "Oh, Miss, the other day I was walking down my street and I noticed all the flags," and I've asked them, you know, how's that made you feel?
All right.
They said they feel uncomfortable.
So let me ask and this is the questions, things that, let's just say, some of the people who are anti-immigration, because there's two things to clear up. There's people that are against immigration, and there's people that are against illegal immigration, right? And would you say that that's a clear difference?
I don't know. Part of me thinks people that are against illegal immigration, that's kind of a mask at
Yeah,
times
yeah.
of the undercoat of racism.
Of the racism.
100%
go along with that.
Okay.
Covert
okay.
racism,
All right,
it is
but,
that.
But the question I'm asking though is, does immigration, right, in all its veins, illegal, legal, you know, allowing asylum seekers in, etc. Does that one? Do you see resources? We often the argument is bleeding the country dry. We're spending a lot of money on this and that, but in the education field, is that impacting the classrooms? Are you seeing resources being used, and is it affecting other children? For example, right, if you're teaching English, but there's people in the classroom that don't understand English, and even on a foundational basis, people come from different sectors where they don't have the same foundational level of education. Is that affecting? Now you're
does
gonna have to
happen.
like caveat to those children in primary school where you're teaching basic English to people that were born here. Now maybe there's people that struggle to speak English. Are these things affecting the classroom at all, or is this just hocus pocus?
No, they are affecting. Like, we do have students that sometimes say, "Oh, I can't understand the teacher because they've got a very strong accent and I'm struggling." And, you know, that's my role then as an adult to say, "Okay, well, let me go and have a word with them." Because at the end of the day, we're meant to help students improve in their education, right? So if we find that something isn't working in the classroom, we have to be able to adapt. It's adaptive learning at the end of the day. So I have spoken to teachers in the past and said, "Oh, you know, what about, you know, using visuals?" Because this child, mostly the children as well that approach me will say that they tend to have like an SEN background, or there's something that stops them from being able to, access the learning compared to everybody else in the classroom. So yeah, it does happen, but doesn't mean that immigrants should go back home and we don't include
I'm
them,
gonna
because
say we
they do
support-
have a
sorry.
massive impact
Is there
in
special
our
support
school
for
as
them?
well.
Yes.
Is
that's
there
what I'm-
special? Is there specific special support for?
we have EAL programs and supportive programs to support
that, sorry?
children. English as an additional language program
Yeah.
for the young
Okay.
person that's
ESOL.
coming into school. Yeah,
Right,
as
ESOL.
well. English speaking. I forgot what the OO is.
Just think of COVID-19.
But I'm going to say to you that I don't think that immigrant children coming into this country has an adverse or a negative effect in the classroom, because generally, and I'm going to say generally, they're coming in to work harder because they're trying to catch up and fit in with their peers. And so the English language speaking, especially at a younger age, they're picking it up on the street. So
Yeah.
as long as the school has got anything about them, they'll be able to challenge that and support the young person. I am a little bit more concerned about something you said with
Yeah.
the teaching stuff, and I see it in support where I'm at. You're an English country, you have a wide variety of English white males, but you don't see a predominance of them in education. And I'm going to say, not even just a teacher, but I mean the support staff. You know,
I think you do.
I've been
Is that
working.
specifically in
Can
London?
I?
I'm
No.
working. Sorry.
Academies.
I work in a
I
school.
see them in
I
academies.
work in a school with
Business.
specifically behavioural, and I'm not seeing my white working class counterparts in the positions that I'm at.
Okay.
Well, in a
I'm
community
not-
school and in a, you know what I mean? Because
Well,
I work in a community
Yes,
school.
I
See the
work in a
difference?
specialist school,
it's very different,
behavioural, but
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not seeing that. And
But in an
again,
academy, they're there.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm going to say, what's there? Because we know academies own us in terms of what's their reason? What are they modeling?
their
What,
How
motive?
about,
yeah.
how about teachers? Are we seeing? Do we see? Because it's not just people that are. Do people come in and they've got, teaching background? Do
Yeah.
they have the access to become teachers and
Yeah.
educators?
You need the qualifications
Yeah.
to become a teacher
Yeah.
or the adequate training
Yeah.
to become.
Yeah.
You can't just go straight in
Of
there
course,
without the
of course. Okay.
qualifications.
All right.
But we
is
do
it
have
specific-
them
is
in
it
our
not like
school.
law? Can you like say if you was in Nigeria, Poland, or
You get a visa.
but do you have to, and you've got a teaching
Working.
qualification back
Yeah.
home? Would there be any transferability to teach here? Or
There
is that a
is.
thing?
It's
Yeah, well,
new now.
say I'm gonna rebut that and say there may be, but what you tend to find is that you find they'll come and work as support. So I've got enough support that come as agency, uncles and aunties. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're saying
Uncles
uncles and
and
aunties, you
aunties.
know who I'm chatting. And they're coming and I'm talking to them and they've come as supply to come and work as support staff.
Yeah.
And when I come to speak to them, they've got so much experience from back home, wherever they are. And I'm saying, so
For the opportunity they're
for
given, isn't it?
whatever
So,
reason,
yeah.
they can't manage to transfer that. Secondly, there are those, and you hinted on this point, there are those that do manage to transfer it, but then you have to face the mockery or
Yes.
the not humiliation, but the teasing from the young people who are
Yeah.
on your accent, who are
So,
on your
Let
mannerisms.
me
You know what I
ask
mean?
the real question. Let me ask a real question, right? So you've been here for 15 years in the education sector, 20 years, and I'm how long
I'd
is
say 14 years now.
14 years, right? So the real question, why a lot of these people are kind of vexed, let's just say some of the let's just call them enthusiastic patriots.
Right wing.
Is
that what we're saying?
Extreme right wing?
Enthusiastic patriots. Right?
Leaning right?
Now, but what I would say, right, is two questions to you, right? Is there a divide coming between white working class English and people that are non-white?
So you're not talking about teachers anymore,
No, I'm not talking about the students, right?
but you're not
And-
talking about staff.
No, I'm not talking about staff, I'm talking about students.
Okay.
And are you seeing that divide in the playground, in the classrooms? And the question is, and the other question is, in the last 20 years, 14 years, right? Is the faces changing?
Okay.
Are the faces changing?
Can I add on to this? I
Yeah.
think, look, kids are kids.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Are the faces changing?
It's not it's the parents that instill these values onto our kids, and it's what's
100%.
being taught at home that either encourages inclusivity or creates this gap.
Yeah.
And I think schools play a part, but also parents play a huge part
Yeah.
in terms of whether
Yeah.
that divide is, how big that divide is.
Okay.
And I also think it depends on the level of sanction for a child who does something that's inappropriate. For example, a child might use a word like, that's going to, a racial word. And it might be, okay, you've got a sanction after school. And that's it. Apologize. But, the seriousness, the level of the consequences for that was not enough. For me personally, you need to be excluded. You need to be excluded because
For
you
using
need
a
to
racial
learn. You
slur?
need to learn never to ever say that again in your life.
But I also go
Why
a
would you
bit
say that?
deeper
Go
than
on.
that. And it's like, all right, kids using these racial
Yeah.
slurs, great. It's not great, sorry. It's really bad that they are.
Yeah.
But where are they learning that from?
No,
And where are they
yeah,
picking that
yeah,
up from?
you're right.
And it's as much as staff
Yeah.
and teachers create these sanctions and do exclusions and so forth, but they're going to go home
Yeah.
and hear
Bring
that
the
language.
parent in, have a conversation.
So I think there's just a
Yeah.
bigger, wider issue here that we need to work with parents. We need to work with families to encourage this inclusivity.
I want to make 2 points. First one, about the educating. When that young person is talking about, I love the English flag, I'm English,
Yeah.
that's your one for education. The English flag, the red cross.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the Palestinian night. Did you know that? Oh, the English, did you know that they were the Normans? They're actually French. They came over.
Yeah.
That's the moment. of
Immigration
education.
is within England, yeah.
The Union Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know that's a coalition? Of
Yeah.
all the United Kingdom?
Yeah, educating the young people
Then the
as-
second part is, you're absolutely right. You have children who are non-black that say the N-word, and when you challenge them, you say, but my brethren lets me say it. And when you ask the brethren, wagwan, the brethren will say, but he ain't saying it to
I
cuss.
can't even stand
He's
it when
just
our
saying-"
black kids
and
say
that,
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And, so
That's a whole
that-
nother
and that's the challenge you have. It's amongst themselves, they're using that word and they're not feeling the trauma that we did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close off, right? But then just one thing I just wanted to get right is I like the fact that you said that the children now seeing that flag don't have the trauma that your generation did.
Yes.
And just closing off, just to anyone who's young and doesn't understand what Hakeem means by that, is that oftentimes I don't think people have a problem with the St. George flag. It's just that at that time, during the Windrush, during the 70s, 80s, 60s, a lot of the time, people bannered behind that flag with very racist and violent tendencies towards, new communities.
Can
or
you
immigrant
also add
communities.
as well that it depends on what part of the world we're talking about? Because we're talking a lot about London.
Yeah.
I came from Liverpool and
Okay.
it's predominantly white.
Yeah.
So the lifestyle there is totally different. The schooling there is totally different. I've had like white colleagues tell me, we need people like you to be in our school. Come and work in our school. Why? Oh, because everyone who is black is just a support worker, and that's white colleagues.
Yeah.
So it depends on the part of the world that we're talking about.
Very true.
Okay. Well, then that wraps it up for
Good one.
another beautiful episode
Good
of
talk,
Feature
guys.
Surgery. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah. All right. Until next time. Let's go.
Nice. Well done.